the biggest problem they have is they are not dominating teams. And the reason I think they're not dominating teams the way they used to is because they're not defending well enough behind the ball. And I've spoken about that over the last couple of weeks. And when I say defending behind the ball, there's two things that happen with that. One is clearly when the opposition get out, then your back four have to defend. And they haven't been able to do that. But when Man City were dominating teams, the midfield weren't letting the opposition get to the back four. So there's two different types of defending behind the ball. And I think what we're seeing this year is that the midfield aren't dominating as much as they had previously. And so the back four's got more to do. And of course, that encourages the opposition. You know, when City were at their best and the opposition couldn't breathe, then you crumble under the pressure. But teams aren't crumbling under the pressure because they keep giving them a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel in regards to not taking the chances, and then of course letting them have little tidbits and little opportunities. And then you see today, Forest just stick at it and they give them an opportunity and with one shot at goal and they score. So I think that is the biggest problem. I think if they were to get back to dominating sides and keeping them in their own half and in their own penalty box, then they would start scoring more goals. Yes, they're still making opportunities, they're not taking them, but they would get even more opportunities.
You know, I think a big problem with Haaland is that as a centre forward, the ball doesn't stick with him. So when he's not scoring goals, he doesn't really contribute enough for me. I don't think when he's got his back to play, he can't hold the ball up. It bounces off him a little bit. So, you know, Stevie will know that the best at this was Ian Rush back in the 80s. He was the best defender in the league because he defended from the front, and Haaland doesn't do that. Haaland doesn't press. He doesn't defend from the front as he should do. And when he's asked to kind of play with his back to goal, he doesn't like that physical kind of confrontation with the centre half. So the ball keeps going back to the midfielders, and the control that they've used to having isn't there because they're not used to, you know, ping pong in between the defence and the attack as it is with Haaland. Now Haaland's a brilliant goal scorer, but I think he's more of a kind of an old school kind of Gary Lineker, Michael Owen type who doesn't offer much more to the team than his goals. When he's not scoring goals, he kind of creates a problem for the team because he doesn't allow the team to control the ball. Harry Kane would have been a much better signing for Man City because he does all that stuff that Haaland doesn't do. He can hold the ball up, he can bring teammates into play, he can pass to teammates, he can play 1-2s, he can create assists. Haaland doesn't do any of that, but he scores lots of goals. So you have to balance it up by saying, are the goals that he's scoring worth losing the other elements of the game, which sometimes makes the team, you know, less good as they were last season.
A couple of things here, Stevie. First of all, what you think of what Mark just said there about Haaland and his fit at Manchester City, and the fact that it is 1 goal in 5 for him now. Is it an issue when he doesn't score for the team?
I kind of agree with Oggy, to be honest. It's an issue for Haaland more than the team because I think he's right. You know, he's there to score goals, and other than you know, we've been speaking about not getting the ball in behind the opposition for him enough or early enough. So after putting the ball in behind for him to run onto and him putting the ball in the net, I think Oggie's right. You know, his contribution is, you know, you almost feel as though when he comes short, he's doing it just so he can get a touch, just to show everybody he's actually still there, because he's not as Oggie said. That's not his forte. So. But you know what? Are you really not going to have him? It probably sounds strange to some people that we're saying this. The fact that it's true, but the fact is, when somebody scores the amount of goals he does, then you have to figure a way out. That's the coach's job. It's different with Haaland, but that's the coach's job. And certainly, if you're a City fan, I don't think any of them are wishing they didn't have him. That's for sure.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.